Hello and welcome to another segment of Interviews That Matter. I'm your host Raj Mehta. In this segment, we bring those guests who influence our lives. This includes elected officials, policymakers, heads of organizations, and other dignitaries. It is my sincere hope that this segment will create a bridge between our community and these powers in this country. Today, our guest is Mr. George Maragos. He is the Nassau County Comptroller and has been elected in 2009, took his office in 2010, and now he's eyeing for US Senate. Let's meet Mr. Maragos. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the show. Appreciate your time, taking time.
Raj, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here with you again.
First, I really want to find out, who is George Maragos?
George Maragos is a self-made man. I was in private industry for over 35 years, a vice president of the Chase Manhattan Bank, a vice president of Citibank, and founder and president of my own firm for over 20 years in financial information services, a firm on Wall Street that my son has now taken over and is running and doing better than I did. So that's wonderful.
Hey.
And that has allowed me to focus on my political career and giving back to the community now that has been so good to me.
Oh, so you immigrated from Greece, correct? And,
yes, I came with my family when I was 9 years old.
Wow.
We were very poor. We started with nothing.
Wow.
I paid my way through school. I earned an engineering degree in electrical engineering and an MBA in finance.
That's a great story.
It is, and I think it's a good example of the American dream that a lot of immigrants came and achieved by working hard, getting a good education, but more importantly, or equally important, this country giving us the opportunity to make something of ourselves.
So, in 2009, you ran as a Nassau County Comptroller.
Yes.
And you won.
Yes, I
So
did.
the first time you ran and first time you won. I mean, not many people can do that.
That's right. But that's also a testament to what people can do. If they were willing to take the chance, follow their dream, and work hard to achieve their goals. And that's exactly what I did.
So yeah, your motivation was always a political career?
No, none whatsoever. I think I'm an accidental politician. I got entangled into this.
Okay.
But once I found myself in this environment, I wanted to do the best that I could. I wanted to excel, and I think that's the testament to my career history.
So you enjoyed this, basically?
I do.
And you enjoy challenges in your life, I guess?
Yes.
And I know you're taking on a bigger challenge now, so.
Yes, I am, which is an achievement for an immigrant to be on the ballot for the Republican nomination to the United States Senate.
I am really proud of you because I am myself an immigrant and our viewers are immigrants also. So we are really proud of you to achieve this goal. Really.
We should all be proud of what we've achieved.
Absolutely, I agree with you. This is a challenging time for the Nassau County. You are a controller and you've been controller since 2010. How complex are the problems with the Nassau County? Do you think that, how long it's going to take to come out of this problem? Any idea at all? Can you give us some?
I think the problems facing Nassau County are the problems facing our state and our nation. I think we certainly brought business principles to Nassau County. When we were elected 3 years ago with the county executive at Mangano, we took on a government that was on the brink of bankruptcy. With the county was one of the highest tax counties in the state, if not the country. And we're very proud that now for 3 consecutive years we've ended in balanced budgets. Actually, the first year we had a surplus of $26 million. We have not raised property taxes for 3 consecutive years. And we've reduced the amount of borrowing that we need to fund government by over 75%. We think that's a remarkable achievement. But the factors that are confronting our county now is the skyrocketing costs for health insurance premiums that have gone up 30% in the last 2 years and that are continuing to go higher. The cost of our pension contributions that are mandated by the state, those have gone up over 60%, as well as all the other inflationary costs, as well as the unfunded mandates by the state and the federal government. That unless we change those external economic pressures, every local government may end up being bankrupt. So those trends cannot continue. The health insurance premiums, the unfunded mandate costs, while at the same time our homeowners are taxed to the hilt.
Yeah, I know. This is a huge issue, and it's going to really keep on growing. If nothing is done,
Correct.
Pension issue is a huge issue.
And fundamentally, that's why, because those factors, economic factors, are outside the county. I decided to run for the United States Senate, because unless we make our economy competitive, grow our economy, create opportunities, expand our tax base,
right.
and not expand the tax base by raising taxes, but rather expanding it by lowering taxes and giving businesses more motivation to grow and expand and stay here, we're not going to get out of this mess.
So you will be using your management skills and your business and entrepreneur skills.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Towards the
we need to make
goal.
our federal government much more efficient, much more effective,
Right.
focused on what government needs to do, and let the business environment that we have some of the best people, business people in the world right here. They made this country the wealthiest, the most powerful country in the world.
Yep.
We should have faith in our business people, in our community leaders, to take us out of this recession that we've been in and restore prosperity to America that we've all grown up with. And we can do it again.
Now, obviously, that step that you're looking at, the U.S. Senate, is, there are several steps that you need to climb before even you reach there, correct?
Right.
So first step is June 26th.
That's right.
Which is going to be the primary, and you have your opponents like Wendy Long and Bob Turner.
Right.
What do you think that your chances of winning this primary? I mean, I'll be very blunt with you.
Yeah, please be. I think I've already achieved the biggest step,
okay.
which is to get on the ballot.
Correct.
That's
true.
For most people that's an impossible undertaking, to navigate the political system and the political bosses to get on the ballot. That's an incredible accomplishment. Most people don't get this far.
Yep,
now
I agree.
We have two relatively significant steps, but maybe more manageable than the first step that I've already achieved, and that is winning the primary on June the 26th. We have 3 Republicans running. I feel I'm the most qualified. I have the best resume of experience in the private industry, of accomplishment, demonstrated that I can win a big election as we did in Nassau County, and furthermore, apply those business principles to government and bring about change in government. None of my other opponents have that demonstrated experience, accomplishment, or demonstrated ability to make a difference in government. I have.
Okay, so like Bob Turner, who is already a representative, right? So
right.
Obviously, he has been in this business also. I mean, I'm talking about politics.
Well, he's been a TV producer.
Okay.
That's very different from managing a large organization,
okay.
achieving results, balancing budgets, making money. That's very different.
Absolutely, you're right.
And I have that responsibility. He does. Wendy Long has no business experience at all. As we see, I think her biggest accomplishment is being an intern for one of the federal judges, the first year out of school, as a clerk. That's not much of an experience, as we know. First year out of college, to use that as your biggest accomplishment, to me, it's not an accomplishment.
So are you willing to debate them, I guess?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Is there anything scheduled?
There is something in the works with New York One to organize a debate.
Oh, okay. It's going to be in the city, obviously.
Yes.
Right? So you're willing to really go for it and show yourself?
Oh, absolutely. And I've been crisscrossing the state. I think I've built a good name recognition, but right now the focus is on winning the primary that only Republicans are allowed to vote by law in the state.
Right.
So we're appealing to the Republicans throughout the state to get out the vote.
Well, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now, if you if you were nominated by the Republican Party, obviously, now this is New York State. Nassau County is like one county out of 62 counties in the New York State. So, what you have to go across the whole state. What will be your one message that you can give it to the voters that can make it, they can make a difference? Obviously,
I think it's going to be, my policies are going to be, our focus is going to be threefold. Mm-hmm. One is creating jobs by making our economy competitive. Mm-hmm. We have an unemployment and underemployment of over 20%. Mm-hmm. Over 25 million people are unemployed. Mm-hmm. Over 2 million New Yorkers are unemployed. Mm-hmm. So that's a big issue that we're facing. So we need to grow our economy, make it competitive, to put those people back to work. Secondly, we need to achieve energy independence. We've all been talking about energy independence forever and doing nothing about it. I would be advocating that we make it a national commitment to achieve energy independence in 10 years, just as we made a national commitment 50 years ago to go to the moon, and we were successful. I think if we make it a national commitment to achieve energy independence, we can become leaders again in this new field that we must, and not allow foreign oil to be driving our foreign policy. And thirdly, we need to improve the quality of our education. I mentioned before that I succeeded because I received a first-rate education. In the past 20 years, we've seen our educational system going from being number 1 to less than number 30, while we're spending more and more money. Our kids, in order to compete and be successful in the 21st century economy, must receive a first-rate education and not a 30th level education. So we need to reverse our national decline. And spending more money and continuing to spend money is not the answer. What I would be advocating is get rid of the federal education department, give that responsibility back to the states. Let's have 50 states competing and innovating with one another, and I'm sure you're going to see a reversal of the educational decline that we've had, because the underperforming states will emulate the better performing states.
So you have like 3 priorities if you get elected in the Senate. Like,
that's correct.
Education, energy, and jobs.
And jobs, correct.
These are the 3 things. Okay, great. That's very good and important for our nation anyway. And energy independence is the most important issue, I guess. Global warming and everything. Right. Yeah. Now, obviously, when you go through the first step of Republican, second step, I would say, from in winning the primary, you will be facing, incumbent Kirsten Gillibrand. Recent poll showed that she is favored like 2-1, and there's a large gap. Obviously, 67% of Republicans are still undecided about who they're going to vote for in the primary. So you do have a lot of opportunity to really go. But with that said, when in a real general election, how do you plan? Is there any how are you going to bridge the gap?
Right. I think when people learn about my background, my accomplishments, and contrast those to Gillibrand, where she was appointed, she has no accomplishments, she only worked for HUD and was partially responsible for almost destroying our financial system. She hasn't achieved anything in office. To me, I think she's betrayed the upstate region when she's being a conservative, only to become one of the most liberal senators in the country now. She had promised economic development upstate. She hasn't delivered. She had promised a job development act. She hasn't delivered. She has not done nothing for New Yorkers. Our unemployment rate is high, on average, is higher than the rest of the country. So we have a person who's representing us who doesn't have the qualifications, who hasn't delivered for New York, versus an immigrant, and most of New Yorkers are immigrant, that is a self-made man who has the credentials, who can deliver for New Yorkers. I think the contrast is going to be compelling. I think my background and my personal story is going to resonate with New Yorkers, and I think I'm going to be a new, fresh breath of air in New York and national politics.
So important thing is to really give the message out loud and clear, so that every New Yorker can hear that message. Basically.
Exactly.
That will be the challenge for you.
That's correct.
Right.
and learn, and that's my challenge, to tell people my story, my accomplishments, and what I can do for New Yorkers.
So obviously you're going to use technology for that.
Yes, and as you know very well, Raj,
you are a technology person yourself.
That's right.
So.
That's right. That's one of my strong suit.
Well, technology can make it or break it. And that's always the case right now. We've seen all over the world. So.
Absolutely. We're talking about delivering a message.
Right.
Selling yourself to the public, to New Yorkers.
Yep.
And the way you're going to do that is through the use of technology and the new media.
Absolutely. That's very important anywhere.
Absolutely.
Nowadays. Now, I wanted to come back to, most of our viewers are basically, community from South Asia, which is, which includes India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, mostly. And, people from Guyana, Trinidad, they also watch our show. What are your views about that community? If you can tell us something what is in your mind.
Well, they're like me, immigrants, a lot of them. Right. They came here to achieve their dreams. And it's important that we continue to give them those opportunities to continue to achieve their dreams. But more importantly, for their children. They came here not only to find a better life for themselves, but more importantly for their children. And that's what I represent. Their kids are not going to be successful unless we give them the quality, first-rate education, and give them opportunities, give them jobs to achieve their dreams. So what I'm advocating is very consistent with their achieving their dreams. Additionally, immigration is very important, I think, for the Asian community as well. Reuniting their families in a legal concept, in a context. Some of these families now are waiting, maybe 10, 12, 15 years to reunite their families in legally. And we need to expedite that. We need to shorten the period. We need to allow Asian students that come here and study here to be able to stay here and contribute to our economy.
So we can call you one of our own.
Absolutely. I am an immigrant, as I indicated.
There you go.
And I have the spirit of the immigrant that all the Asian community should be able to relate.
That's very nice. That's very nice. What can Asian community can do for you, and you can do for the community? Is there anything that you think of?
I want the Indian community, all the Republican registered Asian community, to come out and vote on June the 26th.
Okay.
And vote for somebody, one of them,
okay.
George Maragos. I think that's critical to go to the next step. And then to hopefully rally around me, come out, register and vote. That's something else. A lot of the Asian community is not registered to vote.
Right.
They're not expressing the power, the political power that they have, and it's important. And I would urge them to go and register so they will have an opportunity to pick the best person to represent them at the November election.
And what you can do for them?
Well, I mentioned immigration reform is a big thing.
Oh, okay.
Providing opportunities for their kids to find jobs, to become successful, making sure that their children receive a first-rate education to succeed, much like they did possibly back where they came from, or when they came here and our education quality was much higher. It's critical that we give our children the best education possible in order for them to be successful. Equally important is secondary education that's becoming unaffordable for a lot of the Asian communities as well as for all immigrant communities. Most parents have to work 2 jobs and still can't afford to pay the mortgage and send their kids to a good college. We need to change that.
And I just wanted to ask you to give us your closing remarks, please.
My closing remark is this is a historic opportunity for all immigrants to have a voice in Washington, one who shares their values, who will work very hard for them to provide opportunities for their children, and as well for themselves by making our economy competitive and growing, by achieving energy independence, by improving the education. It's critical for immigrant communities to continue to grow and thrive, that we have a thriving economy.
Well, that does it for today's segment. I want to thank you for coming, taking time to come here and tell us about yourself. And, hopefully we'll see you again after June 26th. And wanted to thank all the viewers for joining us. If you have any questions or comments, email me at rajmitv@gmail.com. That is rajmitv@gmail.com. Until next time, see you. Thanks.
Raj, thank you very much. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.